Clea May.
Keith Walsh.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back together. Well, the last time we spoke was the 11th of November.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock.
11th of the 11th at 11 a.m.
And that was to talk about, it was on the auspicious occasion of the release of your EP, Hummingbird.
Yeah.
And now we're back.
We're back.
However
many
months later to talk about some new music. And you've got a new single coming out, and you've looked at the EP and you've created an album out of it, and you've got some collaborative work happening, and you've got some gigs coming up. So we're going to talk about all of that, and also about you as a creative, as a musician, things you've learned in the last. I mean, you're young, so I mean, has it been 6 months?
What are we now? March? So yeah, what is that, 5 months?
5 months. But
I mean, to me, that feels like a very long time. Like, I think I move through things very quickly. Like, so much can happen within the space of a month.
Yeah. I definitely think for a younger musician as well, you're learning all the time and you're figuring stuff out. Are you changing rapidly with regards to, like, influences? When you look at music, say you created 5-6 months ago, are you thinking, like, my whole way of thinking about music has changed so much in those 5 or 6 months that I've got to, like, are you reimagining all the time?
I think in a way, yeah. I mean, I think we're always evolving, right? Everyone always is, but especially when you're young, you haven't settled into your ways as much, and I'm still learning so much about myself all the time. So of course then my music is influenced by that. But I think the biggest thing for me is learning to trust myself and, not be influenced by what will please other people. And I think in the last 5 months especially, that's been one of the biggest things for me, like trusting what I like and moving from that place instead of, how to please others or what will be acceptable or right to someone else. That's
a big shift.
It's a big shift,
yeah. And then I suppose it makes your need to maybe put out new stuff or do it differently. As soon as you're kind of figuring, I mean, it's evolution, but it's like it's the realization. Where you go, actually, I could just do all of this myself, and I can make all of the decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't have to look to other people's ideas, approvals, all that kind of stuff. It's fascinating for me for you to come back now and to have this conversation, because for me, as a 50-something-year-old man, I'm like, well, that was only a week ago.
Yeah.
And now you've got a new single. And we should probably talk about that first. I do want to say that we're in the studio here. There's a studio beside us where people are making music and having fun. So there might be some, you might hear some laughter in the background.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It is okay.
It's good to hear laughter.
We're all for the creative vibes here.
If we hear screaming, we might stop.
Yeah.
But laughter, we'll keep going. So tell me about the new song.
So the single is coming out this Friday on the 6th of March. And it's called The Dance. I wrote this around the time when Hummingbird actually came out, but it kind of just sat there, and it was just one of those things that I was creating and not really thinking about the releasing part of it. I love this song a lot. I think it's one of those songs where I was like, I can create music that I like the sound of. Rather than, like what we were just saying, right? Peeling back the layers and trying to remove that part of myself that looks at my work from the perspective of other people, through the lenses of other people, and to try and come back and just create from within myself. I really do feel like I did that with this song.
So now, so like for me, watching it and listening to the music is like, okay, well that was seemed to be a big step where you were like, okay, I now I'm in a place where I feel confident in the music I want to make, and even like I know we speak a lot about it, but like the different noises and and where that music has come from and how it's been created, and like what the percussion is and what the and even those little moments of embellishment, and what that is, and having the confidence to put that in there and know exactly where it goes and all that kind of stuff. To see you getting into that place. So now you're going even further, and this is more about making. Is it about making all of the decisions, not trying to please other people, and is that basically what the song is about then as well, or is that a separate part of the same?
I think it's a separate
journey?
part of the same thing, but I also think it's the first step of me having more fun with my creations and putting things out there just to put something out there and to be able to. I think when I put the last EP out, the place that I was in within myself was very much like, okay, this is what I'm doing, here's the EP, like I know what I'm doing, I know why I've created this, I know where I'm going. And I think that learning process of releasing the EP showed me there's so many areas that I really don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay, and letting go of that perfectionism. And with the dance, it's the start of me putting stuff out there and just kind of relaxing with it a little bit more and having a mindset more of, I wrote this song and I love it and it means something to me, so I'm going to put it out into the world, and that's it. And it just is what it is. So I think, it's a process of me being able to relax into that, and I still get nervous, and I still put a lot of pressure on myself in a lot of ways, but yeah, it's one step closer into just doing something for the love of the art and for the vulnerability of it, you know.
So it's less about being so sure of who you are as an artist and this is my sound and I found it.
Yeah.
And it's more about, well, that's always evolving and this is a song that I've made and this is just going out there. Because then, but you've also, so we'll talk a bit more about what is now an album, which is the EP extended, and you put more tracks on that, and is that more about being less self-critical?
100%. So the extended album, Hummingbird Extended, that will be coming out on the 27th of March, that has the tracks from Hummingbird and then 3 extra tracks. Now, one of those extra tracks is the dance, and there's 2 other tracks on it that were originally going to be on Hummingbird, but because I was so in that perfectionist mindset and over-analytical headspace, I took them off because I thought, well, people might hear them and not listen to the rest of it. And that was only through self-judgment, right? So I think me putting out Hummingbird Extended is really me going, actually, it's okay. It doesn't matter what people think. These are songs that had a space in my life, and they were created in a moment in time, and actually I can just put it out and then move on. Like I don't have to
It's not necessarily a big statement like this is set in stone. It's like, well, this is a moment in time.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's the same with the dance, like that song is written about one aspect of myself. It doesn't mean it's my whole self, it's about a part of me which is just as real as the parts of me I write about in all the other songs. But I think being able to just put something out there and go, okay, this isn't all of me, but this is a part of me, and it not all needing to be so shiny and perfect,
And also, you don't have to be like, it can just be a snapshot of something, a moment, a relationship, a thing that happened. It can just be a thing, stand alone, without almost like the explanation around it of how I got here and this is, but now I'm okay and this, but like literally this is the story of this moment. or of this feeling, or of this thing, or of this other person, or whatever, that it's like, yeah, this is a poem I wrote.
Yeah.
It's not related to any of the other poems I wrote, really, and it's not necessarily all of me.
Yeah.
It's just, here's a thing. Here's a thing that I thought.
Yeah.
And it's having that, and that comes with confidence, isn't it? Because in a way, you know, like letting go is about confidence.
Yeah. And
Holding
trust
on
within
is
yourself.
about insecurity, because you want everything to be manicured. You want everything to be like, you know, curated in a certain way. So that, are you protecting yourself, or are you just, were you looking at it from a point of what would people like, what would be popular? You know, were you chasing fame? Was it, I want to be seen by other musicians as a type of musician? Like, what were the things that were coming into your head that was kind of like restricting, was stopping you from just letting go, that was making you hold on so tight? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I'm a very over-analytical person, and I do think that comes from an element of trying to protect myself, you know, from experiences in the past. It's almost like I've got this mindset of, if I can be hyper-aware of everything and overanalyze everything I'm doing, then maybe I can get it right so that I can protect myself from other people's perspectives, which, like you're saying, that comes from a lack of trust within myself, right? And the thing that I find so interesting is, it's counterintuitive, because to do that and to hold on and to overanalyze, it's a false sense of control, right? Because we don't have control over anything. We don't have control over how other people perceive us. We only have control over ourselves and the way we think and how we act. And I think I could see that push element from when I released Hummingbird, the EP, even when it comes to the album cover art, right? No one else would even question it. It's just what I put out there. But I know that it came from a place of push and a lack of trust within myself, because before I put the EP out, I'd had the idea of what I wanted the album cover to be. And last minute, something took over and I changed my mind, and I did a photo shoot and I chose something different. And when I look back, that was all wrapped up in what I thought other people would think would be cool. And I kind of, a couple months after the release, I looked back and I was like, wow, I just completely ignored everything I wanted to do. I took 2 tracks off the EP that I love, 2 of my favourite tracks. I changed the album cover art, like, because of how over analytical I was. And actually now I look back and I'm like, because there was that lack of authenticity, it actually, if I can just trust myself, that will sit so much better with me and probably other people anyway, you know? I mean, it's not even about other people. Other people probably didn't notice anything wrong with it because they didn't know what my original ideas were. But to me, as the artist, that's all that really matters, right, is my opinion. And as long as I'm happy with it, then who cares? But it's a process to be able to get to there, you know, and to let go, like you're saying, and to trust in myself and my judgments and to not overthink things. And yeah, so that album that's coming out is really reclaiming what I feel and trust and believe I should do. So the album cover art of this one is the original artwork that I wanted to use, you know, and I'm putting the tracks back on. And they're also all remastered, so it also has that musical evolution to it, because the tracks are sounding cleaner. But the main thing for me is that it's interesting. It's like the evolution, but actually I'm going back to original ideas. But you know.
Yeah, but it's a correction of sorts, isn't it? You've sort of, you know, you've been within those 5 or 6 months, and but I do believe a lot of it was in the. This is why it's so important. And there's a book called The Artist's Way, and there's, you know, people watching this might know about it, but they talk about creativity, and within that they talk about authenticity, and they talk about how perfectionism kills the art of creativity. So all of those things you're kind of talking about in a way, and the trick to being an artist and being authentic and being true to yourself is to, I call it like putting on the blinkers. So you put on the blinkers, you block everything out. It's like, I don't know if I said this the last time, but it's like if you were to write a book about your life, you have to pretend everyone's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can't be writing a book about your life and thinking, well, what will this person think? What will that person think? I can't say this story because that will upset that. You have to literally write the book as if everyone's dead. You have to put the blinkers on and you have to go, it has to be authentic. You're just making your art. You're just on your own, like a kid, doodling, making something, making a mask, like the cover of the album now, which was going to be the cover of the EP until you change your mind, is you and face paint and this butterfly you've created with your hands, and it's beautiful, you know. So it's that child just creating something and then being proud of it, and it's got nothing to do with anybody else almost.
Yeah.
But what we do is, as artists, when I say we, check out my latest album. It's called Absolute Bullshit. But what people do when they're creating art, then you put it on a platform for people to enjoy, right? You put it in a gallery, you put it whatever. And that's to put it out in the world because that's your gift, and that's what, you know, it's an energy. It helps people, you know. But we have to just we have to just put on the blinkers, we have to block everything out, and we have to just create and not think about the thing reaching the eyes or the ears, like an artist would say, like when I finish my painting, I'm finished with it. It's somebody else's now. I'm working on something else.
Yeah. And also, otherwise, it's just an impossible task, isn't it? Because when you're... I mean, I've had the same challenges with social media of looking at my content through the eyes of other people, and it's just impossible because first of all, you have no idea how someone else is going to perceive it. And second of all, there's so many different perspectives out there that how you can never please anyone, you know? And my music isn't going to be for everyone. My art isn't going to be for everyone. So if I'm trying to chase everyone else's approval, I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm just going to be swayed and I'm going to stray away from authenticity, like you said. So yeah, it's just been a whole process, and I'm continuing with that process, you know, constantly. It's almost like peeling back the layers that I've built up and finding my truest self underneath, and going, actually, like you're saying, putting the blinkers on. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks. What do I think? And every time I do something authentically, because it's what I love and what I think the inner reward for that, you know, the reward for creating, just for creating, is so much more than doing it and then one person approving of something. You know, what does that even mean? That has no value. But it's definitely been a process, and still is, of learning that. I think it's all based on trust within myself, you know, trusting that there isn't a right way. It's just my way. I'm just doing my thing, you know.
Because guaranteed, if you put something out and lots of people like it and you get lots of good feedback, you'll only remember the 2 bits of bad feedback anyway. So it's a fool's errand almost.
And also, I think if I put something out there I love, and someone doesn't like it, I'm like, okay, cool, I love it. But if I put something out there because I'm trying to please someone, and then suddenly someone doesn't like it, I'm going to be like, well, yeah, I don't like that either. Do you know what I mean? So I don't. Yeah, exactly.
I agree. It's true. And actually, now you've seen what you've seen behind the mask almost. You know, because it's about approval, isn't it? And it's about. Do you think that it? So you're doing all of this without a label, without a manager, without. I mean, I would think, looking at this, I think this is for artists, for musicians, for anybody coming up. This is the way you should be doing it. You know, doing it without without somebody saying to you, well, this very famous musician did it this way, so let's try and copy their way. You have to find your own way, and in that, do you think do you worry about not having, say, representation, or not having a manager, or not having a label, or is that something that you're looking for, or are you happy to just find your way without that kind of without restriction,
I mean, I think if the right support or label found me at the right time, and it was what flowed, then I wouldn't turn that down, if it felt like the right decision. But I really don't want to push for it. And I think seeing how influenced I have been, even like what we're talking about, right? Like even 6 months ago, how much I was letting my analytical mind influence my music. I think it's really beneficial for me right now at this moment in time to be learning to trust myself without that around me, because there's so many musicians and artists that get destroyed by the industry because someone comes along and says, this is what will make you money, this is what will make you famous, this is what you should do. And people either don't know themselves enough, or they're offered things that they feel will bring them happiness, or whatever it is, and then they change themselves. And I think, I would really like to say that right now I could be with a label and not get swayed, but I don't know if that's true, because I'm still on that journey of trusting myself. And I don't think until I can fully trust in my decisions and trust myself to go, actually, no, this is what I want to do, I think it could be detrimental in a lot of ways. And look, I'm not stressed about it. I know that things will happen as and when they need to. And right now, I'm really enjoying just doing my thing and putting things out there. So yeah, I think there's a time and a place for those things,
Have you reframed what success means from when you released the EP, so 5-6 months ago? What does success mean now? And is that a word that you even think about?
I think I would like to say that I'm someone that doesn't chase things because I know that money isn't what brings happiness. And to me, success isn't measured through money or through fame or any of that. But I definitely have fallen into the trap over the last 6 months of chasing things, or chasing views, or chasing so-called fame.
Fame, yeah.
Yeah. And I think...
Is fame something you would have thought about?
I think...
Initially, like at the time?
I mean, I think...
Is it part of...
When I was younger, I always remember saying, I never want to be famous. I never want to be famous. Like, that's not why I'm... Like, when I started first writing when I was 10 or whatever it was. Yeah. But I think looking back over the last 6 months, I kind of realised how much that sucked me in subconsciously. That push for fame and that push for that fame and money will make you successful. I think it really did get into my subconscious, I think it really did start being the thing I was working towards, and not even in a conscious sense of, I want to be famous, but like, okay, I need to put this out so that I can get this notice, and so I can do this. And it really took away from my authentic creations and just creating for the love of creation, And I think when I got to that head and kind of realised that the things I was doing was not only for the trying to please other people, but also trying to get something, it had that push energy behind it. It really made me take a step back, and I was like, whoa, I haven't realised how easily I've been sucked into that way of thinking about things, because it's everywhere, it's all around us all the time. And I'm so not the sort of person who would think of myself as playing into that. But I think, catching myself and going, what does success actually mean to me? Because if I am chasing this thing called fame, but I don't even believe that will bring me success or happiness, then why am I even chasing it? I'm just chasing it because I'm told I should chase it, because I'm a musician and that's what musicians do, rather than I'm a creative and I'm making my stuff and I'm going to put it out there, you know. And it was actually when I started painting a couple weeks ago, which I haven't done in so long. I was having quite an anxious day and I just needed to do something to just take me out of my mind. And yeah, I started painting and I realised it was the first time in so long that I was creating just for the love of creation. And that's kind of when I saw that whole loop that I was in. And yeah, that really took
Well,
me.
you can bring that feeling back to then when you're making your music, because I mean, I know we spoke about it the last time, but you literally, you play the instruments. There's a great video on your social media of you building a song.
Yeah.
And there's the great little bit where you just
Yeah,
add in the bell, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. But you create these songs, keys, guitar, bass, whatever, and you are, you know. I mean, I used to think, George Michael, because he just, he played all the instruments.
Yeah.
And wrote the music and sang the song, and that's what you do. You do everything. You're very self-contained. So when you go to create something now, is that sort of like that idea of painting just for the sake of painting? Will you be able to bring that, or are you able to bring that into like creating music?
Yeah, 100%, and I had that with music, and it's not like I completely lost it. I think just like noticing the state that I was in when I was painting and seeing that contrast of how like actually quite stressed I'd been over the past few months and the pressure I was putting on myself. Like I come back to the pressure thing because I do put so much pressure on myself, and I let the influences of society's pressures really get to me, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be doing things because I feel like I have to reach fame when it's not something I even care about. I've just been doing that because if you're a musician, that's what you do. You strive for that, you know. And actually, I just want to live my life and create my music, and I want to put stuff out there again because I've made something and people can listen to it if they want. And I want to put it out for me as well, not because I need a certain amount of views or a certain amount of streams. It's like it's there, and if people stumble across it, then great. And it's there as well for me to have this catalogue of my stuff and showcase my work. And, it also then comes into play of the perfectionist thing with, I was going to take the original EP down when I put up the new stuff. But then I was like, that's still playing into the same perfectionism thing, right? Because it's like, just because I know that wasn't truly authentically me, or I analysed stuff and nitpicked it and took stuff out, that was still me doing that at that time, and me being in that analytical mind, that was still a part of my journey of where I was, right? So to be able to just let go and to leave it up and then put something new up and then put something else up, and I'm sure in 6 months' time or however many months' time, I will have evolved again. But if I'm always taking stuff down and always editing things, it's like, where's the growth, Like, where's the humanism?
Where's the journey?
Where's the journey, right?
But it's that thing of like trusting. So you talk about that feeling you had when you're just creating, you're painting, you just like, and when you're making your music, and you are in that place, yeah. But it's only afterwards where you look back and you go, you don't trust the place, who you were, and the place you're in when you're making that music, because then you start thinking about other things. Oh, that's not quite. It's almost like, I'm just going to be in this place. I'm going to make this thing. I'm going to create this piece of work.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then, and trust who you were at the time when you were
Exactly.
doing that,
And also honour who I was at the time, because I wouldn't be able to be here if I hadn't been there, right? And also, I have another project that's coming up that I won't specify yet because it hasn't been announced, but it's something really exciting that I worked on, and that was a really big challenge for me, to just let things be and to not overanalyze things, because it really taught me, like, if I overanalyze this, it's not going to exist. You know, I just need to be able to let it be what it is in its imperfections. It's that thing of doing something imperfect rather than not doing anything at all.
Yeah,
right?
That's
Because otherwise,
it's the secret to success.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really challenging thing for me to be learning, to be honest, because like I said, I am so analytical of myself and self-critical, and trusting in my own judgment is a journey. It's a journey, and it affects all aspects of my art. But I really feel like, yeah, the dance is the start of me going, let's put this project out there. Let's just do it. And then let's move on to the next thing, and then let's put it out, and let's honour the journey, right? Rather than editing the journey.
Yeah, but you're learning. You see, and then you're doing this, and then you're doing. So you're always like you're always having. The thing I notice about you is like you're always putting yourself in a position where you're having new experiences. So you're always making sure that that it's a valuable experience and that you're getting more from it, and you're always adding bits. And you know, you're very curious and very brave as well. And you know, but it's the off days where everybody has them, where you just doubt everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, don't make any decisions in those days. It's you know, it's almost like a trick where you go, well, like I used to say, I don't do anything on Mondays. I don't make any decision about anything. I don't pay any bills. I don't, you know, try and like have any conversations. It's different now but in that, when I was involved in working in 9-to-5 job, whatever, like Mondays was like I don't have any serious conversation about anything with anybody on a Monday, or so. But I would talk to you about things and be on a Thursday or Friday, because my headspace is much more positive and I'm much more open to ideas and much more self-confident and much more. So it's almost like you have to trick yourself, and it's getting to know yourself well enough to go, wow, today's not a day for making decisions about my art,
Yeah.
And it's those little tricks that you can only learn from trying and doing it wrong, or doing it differently, or trying a different way, and it's learning yourself really.
Yeah.
And that's how you become an artist, and that's how you have a career or longevity or whatever it is. And there's some of my favorite bands like just fell by the wayside because they made an album or two albums, and you never heard from them again. And then you read a book about, the lead singer brings out an autobiography years later, and you just find out he'd spent 12 days inside a dome tent in the studio trying to get the perfect guitar sound.
Yeah.
And that's a madness. And then you're going, oh, I know why they only brought 2 albums out.
Yeah.
And that's, do you know what I mean? It's like you once you get into that place of perfectionism, you're gone, And I often feel really sad for bands that I loved and made great music, that they couldn't see that if they could just approach it with a bit more lightness of touch and be a bit more carefree about it, and not, because ultimately it's about worrying about what people think.
Yeah.
The fear is never about getting on the stage. The fear is about your trousers falling down when you're on stage and people laughing at you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you can work that out, it goes a long way to like giving you the freedom to be creative. Is there a thing about bringing out music? There's an Irish band called Republic of Loose, and they had a song called Music, and Mick Pyre, the singer, it's about him talking to people about being a musician, and the line in the song is, "It must be so hard when you're not making money," and he's having a conversation with a girl who works in the bank or whatever, and he's trying to he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I make music. I like music. But it was almost like about him having to constantly have these conversations with people who don't understand what it is he does, and they keep asking him, "Oh, it must be hard. Are you making any money? Is this like are you still doing the music thing?" And it is that thing, isn't it? Of like, is there an element of that, of like success and explaining yourself to people?
Yeah, I often feel quite stressed out when people are like, so how's the music going?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's become this thing that isn't just something that I love and that I do. It's something that I'm trying to monetize, and that I'm trying to gets to with. I think in the last interview that we did, I said about how everyone's always trying to get somewhere, but there's nowhere to get. There's just here now. And I think since that interview, it's almost like I relearned that lesson in so much depth, you know, because I know that within myself, but music was kind of what was taking me out of that. It was taking me trying to get somewhere, trying to make it. And yeah, I do feel the pressure sometimes when people ask that. But again, that's putting the pressure on myself, right? I'm taking on board that pressure.
Yeah.
And
Because you don't know that it's not pressure you need to take on.
Yeah.
Because you think that that is success. And to be, I've made it.
Yeah.
But you've already made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the idea of making it, you know?
Yeah. I'm here now, and that's all
you're
there
here
is.
now.
So I've made it here now.
And you're making music, and you're doing,
Yeah.
like, it's the thing of, you know, my son plays football. I'm like, every day you're playing football.
Yeah. You are a footballer.
This is your life.
You're just, yeah.
Every day you're making music, you're creative. This is it. You've made it. Because there is no future.
Yeah.
And it's that projection into some idea of making it, or, you know, arriving at a place that you talk about that just isn't helpful and isn't a thing. Whereas right now, you're sitting here doing an interview, chatting about your music that you're about to bring out, talking about other projects, talking about the extended album, and so you've made it.
Yeah, and life is the journey, right? It's not the destination.
No.
And I think that's also something that I have relearned recently, like with more truth behind it, and and also like you said, like it's about knowing yourself and knowing the days where you're like, actually, I can't do this. But I think also it's about going, today I'm not feeling perfect, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, I'm not feeling as confident as I usually am.
That's a fair point, yeah.
Yeah, and also it's the same with my music. Like sometimes I'll listen to my music and I love it. I love listening to it. And sometimes there's so many things I want to change. But if I don't just put stuff out for the fact that that's a moment in time, I created that, I'm going to put it out. I could re-edit my music so many times. Like, especially when the fact that I'm the one writing it, I've got the creative mindset on, going, oh, I could add that needs something there, I could do that vocal better. I would do that forever if I don't just put it out, you know? And that's also why I want to put this Hummingbird Extended out again with the original tracks that I wanted to put out, because, yeah, I wouldn't make those songs in the same way now, you know? I wouldn't. There's a spoken word track on that I would do so differently now. But that was such a big track for me when I wrote it. That was me expressing such a deep part of myself for where I was at that moment in time. Who am I as me now to say, oh no, that's not good enough? When I wrote that was my everything, right? So yeah, I just want to be able to let go, like you said, let go of the perfectionism and just be able to see the journey through my work.
And have respect for your former self as well.
Yeah.
So the single is out.
The single's out on Friday. So what are we, Wednesday today? So
this
3 days.
this
Single's
could
basically
be
out.
Yeah, but people could be watching this.
Yeah, it's probably out.
Could be
6th of March.
Could be out today.
If you're watching after 6th of March 2026.
If it's the following Tuesday, it's already out.
Yeah.
It's also already out if it's the following Wednesday.
Yeah, and the following Thursday.
And the following Thursday. Every day after that. Every day after Friday, it's already out. So the single and then the album.
Then the album's coming out on the 27th of March, which I'm also super excited for. Again, just, claiming that imperfect perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, so it was like marking a period in time and just going, okay, now you have those songs. You can tour, you can play gigs, you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
You can go back and remix them all if you know. I mean, you can do whatever you want with them. But to have that, this piece of work here done, and then sort of like what's next, almost like, and then will you be playing gigs, and will I suppose people can just look at your website.
Yeah, the best
for
place
news.
is my Instagram at It's Clea May, or my website cleamay.co.uk. But I've also got some collaborative projects coming out that will be announced soon, which is really exciting. I think it's another part of just being able to enjoy creating and letting go of the perfectionism stuff again, of just going, this is something here that I did, and it not all being so serious, you know. I think when I released my last EP, it was a beautiful time, and it needed to be done in the way that it was, you know. I learned a lot by being like, right, this is how it's going to be, and being quite structured with it in that way. But I think moving forward, I'm trying to relax more, and I'm trying to go, here's a piece of art, here's another piece of art, here's that, and not worry about how it does or what the way it's received, you know, just about I'm creating something and I'm going to put that out. So the collaborative projects that are coming out are really exciting, and they're really encompassing that. Also because one of the tracks that I actually have coming out next week that is a collaborative project with another producer, shout out to Alfie. I'm doing the vocals on that track, and I think because that's what was my focus, you know, he produced the track and then I've gone in with the lyrics and the melodies, it's given me another element of freedom with the creativity of just going, I'm just going to do this part and have fun with that. And that is one of the reasons I really love collaborating, because it can be just, coming back to the enjoyment and the creativity of it, you know, without the all the pressure of all the parts that I need to figure out, you know.
Yeah, but there's a lot to be said as well for like spreading having your own project and then working with other people, and you know, because if that spotlight of success or fame or whatever is sort of like, you know, moving around, and then you're involved in this and this and this, you know, it's not it just means that you're creating. It gives you a better chance to have a career to what I think the goal for a lot of people is to find a place where you can be creative and pay your bills.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, however you label that, but being creative in as many different spaces as you can is and with a lightness and enjoying
with a
enjoying
lightness,
the moment.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'd also say that, you know, obviously in our culture and the way our world is, it's so hard not for the focus to be on money. But again, it's about coming back to that trust that if I'm just doing things for the love of it and I'm letting things flow, that money will find me. And that is really where I was moving. I was losing that trust and that flow energy for a couple months, I think. It was becoming about reaching the views or the money or the fame.
Yeah.
And actually, that's really backwards. It's like if I chase that, I'm going to push it away. And if I can love what I'm doing and let there be lightness in what I'm creating, and let there be freedom in what I'm doing, then the things that I need will find me. And if what I need is money to pay my bills, then that will find me and be a part of that, you know. But it's a whole process, and I don't think that trust is a straight line. I think it's, you know, you hit things that really mean you need to fall back onto your faith.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just have your faith and your trust when things are going your way. It's the times when it's difficult that is what you need to lean on.
Yeah. And we should just make a point that it's difficult to be an artist. It's not.
Yeah.
No, but society does not make it easy. It's worth pointing out as well. So fair play to anyone who chooses that path. And
I would even argue that it's not a choice.
Well,
for me,
there you go.
I think, and also for a lot of artists, I don't think it's a choice. I think it's what we're here to do, and I think, I mean, I would even say that all human beings are creative beings. You know, we're all here to create something, whether it's our reality or our life or a piece of art or our relationships or whatever it is. We're creating all the time, and to be able to channel that into something that we can share with other people, I think that's why I don't have a choice, you know. But that's also why I want it to continue to be that, to be me creating because it's my purpose, and then sharing it with other people because I love creating.
Yeah, and that need to create isn't a burden; it's an joy. It's an enjoyable thing.
But like you're right, society does make it difficult for it to be an enjoyable thing. But that's why it's important to trust and
To
stay
find,
conscious and not like give in to that perfectionist over analytical side that we've been talking about.
And people can get your stuff on Spotify this time around?
Yeah, so obviously the last time I released, I wasn't releasing on Spotify. And again, I've learned a lot about myself over the past 6 months and about where I was and where I am now. And I think when I released the album, the EP, sorry, I was really looking into what my role and what my responsibility as an artist in the current state of the world is. And, you know, I'm glad that I didn't release on Spotify because it's what I needed to do then. And I was exploring that whole thing of sovereignty and, my responsibility. But since releasing that and rethinking things, there is a lot of darkness in our world, a lot of it. And I wish that I could say, I'm not going to put my music on Spotify and suddenly solve all of the darkness. But, you know, there were people who were listening to my music on YouTube, and in between each song they'd get a McDonald's advert. How is that darkness any better than the darkness of what the CEO of Spotify is doing, you know, or the CEO of Apple Music or any of these big companies? And I would love to be able to say, I'm not going to be involved in any of that darkness. And I think that's what I was doing for a while. I really isolated myself when I was going through that journey, you know. I didn't really see anyone. I didn't really do anything. I was very much like, I can see what the darkness in this world and I'm not getting involved.
Yeah.
But actually, all that was doing was removing my light from those dark places. And I think, especially where I'm at right now, as an artist who is trying to put my light out there, I think it's really important for me to be able to put my light into these spaces where there is darkness and shine as brightly as I can and allow people to hear me and give myself the best opportunity of stepping out there. And, you know, I think it's different for artists who are getting millions of streams and are really, really known. For them to go, actually, I'm coming off of Spotify, that's going to impact a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's going to make...
It will make Spotify think differently about how they're behaving.
Differently. It might inform people who are listening to them. But right now, I really can't be restricting myself from how people can find me, you know? And I think there is darkness in these places, and it's really upsetting that artists who want to create something beautiful have to be part of these dark industries in some way. But I think it's the impact of putting my light out there and allowing myself to be seen and inspiring from there will have more of a positive impact than me closing myself off. And it rippled into my social life as well. I was like, actually, yeah, there is darkness out there. Yeah, there are people who don't understand me or who don't see the same things that I see. But for me to just completely step away from everyone that I know, how is that actually benefiting anything, right?
Well, I mean, if you could make the decision that you only put out music, you know, on platforms and in spaces that are purely good and have no, but unfortunately, it doesn't. It really doesn't, and because you're dealing with, you know, if you're dealing with success, if you're dealing with money, if you're dealing with capitalism, you know, there's you know, you can boycott certain radio stations because if you go up. Yeah. You know, it's all owned by the same people ultimately. Yeah. So you just got to get on with it and do your thing. And you know, if and when you change your mind, you can come off those platforms again. You know, for whatever reason. But there is also a thing of like feeling the pressure of other people tutting you for not well, you know, having a problem. You'll always have someone who has a problem with you being on those platforms, as well as like lots of people who don't even know what the CEO of Spotify is doing with the money and just want to listen to the music. So it's, you know, it's just about.
Yeah, because then it became for me the decision to go back on Spotify. I was like, okay, now I know that that's what's best, but now am I not going to do that because I'm scared of what other people are going to think of me? And it's like, actually, there are no rules.
No.
There are no rules. We're all just doing our best and doing what we feel is right. And yeah, I think there's a lot of darkness out there. And even, especially when we're moving forward, the way the world's going with more surveillance coming in and stuff, a lot of people are going, I'm not going to be a part of this, I'm not going to be a part of that. And actually, I think where I'm at right now, it's about going, I'm aware of this stuff and I'm going to do the best that I can, but I'm not going to stop shining my light because of other people, you know. I'm not responsible for other people's darkness. I'm responsible for my light, right? So.
And that's it. And you can expend your energy being involved, you know, giving your energy to the argument about whether you should or you shouldn't or this or that or whatever, and you're just giving your energy to that space anyway.
Yeah.
But you need to keep your energy to do your thing, be creative, make music, make the world a better place.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to teach the world to sing. No, just me then. Clea May, thanks very much. Your website is your website live?
Yes, it is live at cleamay.co.uk. Instagram is at It's Clea May. And yeah, I'll be updating more things soon on there. There's always updates going on. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. There's a lot of exciting projects coming out over the next couple months. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep up this pace, and we're meeting every 6 months to talk about a new album, and that's
going to be
exciting.
I would like to
It'll
see...
give me something to do every 6 months.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where I am in 6 months, you know, because things are always evolving. And
yeah, I mean, maybe we'll chat in 2 weeks.
Yeah, never know. Maybe on Friday.
Yeah, Friday, yeah. Thanks very much and best of luck.
Thank you.